What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we're going to be bantering about my top 10 shortstops right now. MLB Network does this countdown each and every single season, and they look at the top 10 of each position, ultimately being decided by their algorithmic program called the Shredder. But I want to encourage you guys before I get into my list. Let me know who are your top 10 shortstops in the game right now. Let me know down in the comments, or find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, and we can keep the conversation rolling. As we begin with number 10, it is Wander Franco of the Tampa Bay Rays. When you look at what Franco has been, this has been a player who's been beset by injuries. This was a former number 1 overall prospect in Major League Baseball, and I believe that he still has the talent to be able to prove that and validate that thought that everyone had when he was coming up in the minor league system. I think that if we can get a healthy Wander Franco in 2023, he's really going to be able to show the world exactly why he was the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. As we look at number 9 on my list, it is the reigning World Series MVP, Jeremy Pena. I think that when you look at what Pena can be, he absolutely took over the shortstop spot from Carlos Correa's departure for the Houston Astros in a seamless way. It started off a little rocky for Pena at the beginning, but once Dusty Baker kind of told him, set him down like, hey, this is your job. Go out there, play your game. You belong here. He really started to turn it up, and we saw a huge performance out of him during the postseason. I think that now, being a little bit more comfortable in 2023, we're going to see the very best of Jeremy Pena, and it's going to be a very, very good season. As we look at number 8 on my list, it is Willy Adames of the Milwaukee Brewers. I think that this was one of the more intriguing trades when the Brewers acquired him from the Tampa Bay Rays. To me, it was very interesting because this was a player you could see starting to make those strides to break out. And when you look at what he posted in 2022, this is a premium defender. He would have an outs above average of 10 to go along with an OPS plus of 112, 31 home runs, 98 RBIs, a baseball reference WAR of 4.4. And when you look at what he can be over the next coming couple of seasons, most specifically in 2023, this is the guy to me who can absolutely climb up even further on this list. Right now, he's my number 8. When we look at number 7 on my list of the top 10 shortstops right now, it is Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays. Bichette is a guy who has tremendous offensive potential and already showing some of those signs. I think that defensively, this is a player that has to get better, but with some incremental changes, getting some different coaches in his ear, getting some different players, and being able to play next to one of the very, very best defensive third baseman in Matt Chapman, I think is going to start to help Bo Bichette get better at the defensive side of things. When you look at his offensive contributions, looking at 2022, an OPS plus of 124, 127, 24 home runs, 93 RBIs, a slash line of 290, 366, 469, and a baseball reference WAR of 3.6. Obviously, again, defense is going to be important at this position. You want to have a strong up the middle core of catcher, shortstop, second base, center field if you want to be a championship caliber team. But when you look at what this player can be, the athleticism, the agility is there. He can be a good defender. I think having a little bit more time with Matt Chapman, working with some of the coaches on that Blue Jay staff, I think that his defense will improve and his stock in the top 10 shortstops could rise. Now, as we get into number 6 on my list, it is Corey Seager of the Texas Rangers. Now, Seager is and has been one of the most consistent bats as far as shortstops over the last several years. I think that going into 2023, he has a lot more competition at the top of this order. I think that when you look at what he did in the 2022 campaign, it started out a little rough, but he would end up with 33 home runs, 83 RBIs, an OPS plus of 119, and a B-WAR of 4. Now, you also look at the fact that this was a player who had a very poor defensive season in 2022 and 2021 and really turned it around in 2022, according to outs above average. Now, yes, defensive metrics are still a little bit in their development But there's no doubt about it. When you see the way that this player played the game in 2022, you can see there was genuine improvement going forward in this player's agility, his ability, and going forward for the 2023 season, you expect it to get even better. Now, as we look at number 5 on my list, it is the newest Chicago Cub, Dansby Swanson. I think that when you look at Dansby, this was a guy who absolutely put on a phenomenal show on the defensive side of things in 2022. During this season, offensively, he would put up an OPS plus of 115, 25 home runs, 96 RBIs, a baseball reference WAR of 5.7, and a lot of that was tied into the fact that he had 21 outs above average. This was a very good defensive player, second best in all of Major League Baseball when it came to the outs above average stat from StatCast. As you look forward to the Cubs' new shortstop in 2023, you expect that defense to continue having another superstar defensive player in Nico Horner now moving over to second base. That tandem is going to be absolutely incredible to watch. I cannot wait to watch Cubs games in 2023, being able to see what kind of feeds these guys make to each other. The double play tandem that they are is going to be incredible. And part of that is because of how well Dansby Swanson has turned his defensive game and being able to be one of the better offensive shortstops. Now, number 4 on my list is Francisco Lindor of the New York Mets. When you look at what the Mets have done this offseason, they have really done a ton, spent a lot of money, but it all started with Francisco Lindor and his acquisition back in 2020. When you look at what he did in 2022, he would have an OPS plus of 125, 26 home runs, 107 RBIs, posted a B WAR of 5.4, and had 13 outs above average. You now pair that with the fact that he was coming off of a down year in 2021, and it stands out even more why this was the player that the Mets and Steve Cohen started their rebuild around, started building the foundation of this organization to try to be a World Series winner around. Francisco Lindor, aka Mr. Smiles, always does play the game the right way with a smile on his face, with a childlike enthusiasm, and it shows in the way that he goes about his work. This is a guy who absolutely loves being on the field and delivers night after night for the New York Mets, thus making him number 4 on my list. Now, as we get into number 3 on my list, it is the newest San Diego Padre, Xander Bogaerts. When you look at what Bogaerts has been, this is one of the most consistent bats in all of Major League Baseball. Now, yes, his defense can be questioned. He has started to improve that a little bit, in my opinion, but it is really going to be on the offensive side of things where Xander really starts to bring forth the merit of why he got $280 million from the Padres. In 2022, he would have an OPS plus of 131 with 15 home runs, 73 RBIs, a slash line of 307, 377, and 456. Again, also improved his defense tremendously, becoming a plus defender and outs above average with a total B WAR of 5.8 in 2022. Xander has not finished with an OPS plus of less than 128 since 2018. This is a consistent player, somebody that the Padres are going to be able to plug into the middle of their order, probably hitting third in that lineup, maybe fourth behind Manny Machado. This is a guy you can consistently count on to deliver good at-bats each and every time he comes up to the plate. And with that improved defense, he moves up to number 3 on my list. Now, here's where the controversy is going to come in, as number 2 on my list is Trey Turner. Trey is obviously and arguably and probably will be the number 1 shortstop in the game according to the Shredder. But as it is a personal list, I like one player just a little bit better than I do Trey Turner. But when you look at Trey Turner, you know what he's going to give you. This is a combination of power and tremendous speed. In our bold predictions article on LaracuenteLedger.com, I made the crazy bold prediction that Trey Turner is going to steal 60 bases now. With the new rules that are in place in Major League Baseball in 2023 about step-offs, throw-overs, pick-offs, and the larger bases, it just really bodes well for a guy like Trey Turner, who uses his legs and his speed to a tremendous advantage. When you look at what he posted in 2022, an OPS plus of 121, 21 home runs, 100 RBIs, a slash line of 298, 343, .466 with 27 stolen bases, a B WAR of 4.9. This is a difference maker in that Phillies lineup, especially with the fact that you're going to be missing Bryce for the first couple of months of the season. You're going to be really relying on Trey Turner, and he's going to deliver. There's period, point blank. This is the type of player that he is. He is capable of carrying a lineup in multiple facets, and he's going to be able to bring that to the Philadelphia Phillies, who have a tremendous lineup. And this, to me, was the only piece that they were missing. Now they look like an even more formidable threat, and it's all because of Trey Turner. So as we get into the number one shortstop for me, it is Carlos Correa. When you look at Correa, this offseason has been absolutely ridiculous to watch. We have had multiple articles up on Laracuente.com as to all the different things that have been going down with Correa in this offseason. But for me, there's no doubt about it, the potential of this player, the ability that he already has, is going to be of a tremendous amount of success. Yes, there's going to be questions and concerns about his injured right leg, his rebuilt right ankle, and that's really kind of what facilitated 3 different deals this offseason. But a healthy Carlos Correa, to me, playing with a chip on his shoulder now, wanting to prove you all made a mistake on me. This is going to be a guy who, in my opinion, is going to have a huge season in 2022. And when you look at what he was able to do in 2022, an OPS plus of 140, 22 home runs, 64 RBIs in 136 games. Yes, the defense fell back a little bit. I think that in 2023, he's going to get back to that. I think he's going to have a monster season in 2023. Again, playing with a big chip on his shoulder, trying to prove the world wrong, that they overlooked him, that they discounted him, and that he is going to be one of the forces in all of Major League Baseball. But again, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your top 10 shortstops right now down in the comment section below, or you can find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, and we can keep the conversation rolling. If you want to show more support for us here at the Baseball Banter Broadcast, you can do so by heading over to our merchandise shop, baseballbanterbroadcast.com, and use any one of the number of promo codes we have on the site to save on some of the Banter merchandise. As well, if you want to show more support, head over to laracuenteledger.com, our website, our blog site, where you can check out new articles every single day. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Keep it locked in. We just recently hit the 500 subscribers mark, and we're looking to continue building this baseball community, this baseball family. So I want to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. Tell all of your baseball friends that this is the channel to watch in 2023 and beyond, as we cover the latest news, notes, and my personal thoughts, theories, and opinions on the game of Major League Baseball. Peace.